Hey, Jim from Analytics here. I wanted to share an interesting discovery that I found out about yesterday. FDA's actually released a new regulation for a software device with a change control, pre-approved change control plan, a PCCP. This is interesting, particularly interesting, because just a few weeks ago, FDA released a draft guidance document on a pre-approved change control plan, a PCCP, for medical devices using AI and machine learning. And typically with the draft guidance, they're not for implementation. They go out for comment, and then industry makes comments, changes are made, and then these documents are published as final guidance documents. So it seemed a little bit unusual to me and interesting that FDA actually has granted a de novo using a PCCP and created this product code. The product code is QVD. It's under 892.2055, and the name is a mouthful, but it's radiological machine learning based quantitative imaging software with a predetermined change control plan, PCCP. So what this means is that industry can now use this de novo, and this particular device is a cardiac ultrasound that estimates ejection fraction using machine learning technology. So rather than having to go through a de novo route, you can go through the 510K route. And even though it's a draft guidance, FDA is obviously accepting PCCPs in 510Ks. There are some constraints or additional activities that need to be done to do a 510K under this product code, under the QVD product code. There's special controls that FDA has come up with. And these are based on 3 risks that they have specifically indicated are applicable to this product code with the PCCP. They're concerned about inaccurate device output leading to the patient, receiving inadequate or incorrect diagnosis or treatment. This is pretty much a standard risk for imaging devices. The second risk is implementation of modifications agreed in the PCCP lead to algorithm producing inaccurate output. That's pretty specific to a PCCP. The third risk is misunderstanding of changes to the device input criteria, output criteria, and output performance, potentially leading to misuse or incorrect diagnosis or treatment. That's again pretty specific. The special controls themselves are apparently enough to mitigate these risks, and these are not onerous. There's really just a few, and they're not too bad. You need to include a detailed description of the image post-processing algorithms, which more than likely you would do anyway. A detailed description of training data, including the detailed annotation method and important cohorts that were used. Also pretty standard fare for that type of device. Performance testing protocols and results that demonstrate that the underlying algorithms function as intended. Yeah, these are pretty standard for devices with AI machine learning. So that's definitely not too bad. What you also need to do is you need to make sure that you're separating your training data from your testing and validation data. You cannot intermingle or mix those two. There are some specific labeling requirements that need to be addressed. You do have to include a detailed description of the patient population, the intended user, device outputs and inputs, compatible imaging hardware, and a summary of the device's current performance characteristics. A few additional labeling things that need to be done, these are specific to the PCCP, is a statement that the device has a PCCP. And there's also a need to have a description of the modifications implemented and supporting algorithms, including the summary of current performance, associated inputs, validation requirements, and related evidence. And the last specific labeling requirement is you need to include a version history, a description of how the device modification will be implemented, and a description of how users will be informed of device modifications made in accordance with the PCCP. So this is pretty interesting, and more than likely we're going to see quite an uptick in the number of devices with changes that are allowed to be done in-house, basically according to the PCCP, rather than having to submit a 510K for these changes. So pretty interesting. Take care.